Did that really just happen? Hey guys, my name is Michael Thomas, and today we are going to be looking at WandaVision Season 1, Episode 5. The name of the episode is, on a very special episode, we got an appearance of Quicksilver. That's new. We're going to get to that. Let's recap the rest of the episode first. Alright? So in this episode, we are now in the 1980s, returning back to the Westview sitcom after being interrupted in the last episode, episode 4. The intro of this episode is very reminiscent of the Family Ties intro. So that's where we're drawing a lot of inspiration from there. Billy and Tommy are babies. Wanda and Vision are struggling to take care of them. They're crying a lot. And Agnes comes over, as she always does, tries to help with the babies. Vision is kind of reluctant, and he decides he doesn't really want her to. And then the weird part happens. So Agnes breaks script and is essentially asking Wanda if she'd be willing to do another take. Wanda and Vision are both kind of thrown off guard by that, but Wanda wants her to take care of the babies. Vision is a little stunned and disturbed. Vision is starting to realize things aren't quite right, and that makes for, a compelling arc for Vision, because I think he's probably going to end up having to fight Wanda later on in the story. But Agnes breaks character, which is interesting. Agnes is the only one who breaks this TV show view. She doesn't feel like a hostage. She feels like she's an actor on a set, which I think is really, really interesting. Because the only other characters who act like anything is up or wrong would be Monica or Wanda. Everybody else just sort of plays into the sitcom roles that they've been given. And Billy and Tommy. So it's really fascinating that Agnes is, breaking character nonchalantly. Like, she's not even hiding it from Wanda. And Wanda's not really hiding her powers from Agnes. So it's like, what's the relationship between those two? Who is Agnes? And why is she able to know all these things where somebody like Norm, Vision has to snap him out of it? That's another thing that happens. So Vision goes to work. He feels that something's off. He gets an email from Sword detailing the situation. And he just, touches Norm's temples. And he snaps out of it, asking about his family and making sure they're all right. He's panicking. He's saying she's controlling all of this. He never says anybody by name. It could be Wanda or it can be Agnes. And that's the scary part. We don't really know. And so Vision is going to confront Wanda later in the episode. While this is happening in the sitcom, this is the first episode that takes us, gives us equal time sitcom and the real world. So we're following Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy. The director of Sword is saying that Wanda is a terrorist. He lists all the many reasons why he's right. Jimmy tries to explain that she's an Avenger and that makes her a good guy, right? It's really interesting that they're trying to, I feel, misdirect and make us think that the head of Sword is the villain when I don't really think that he is. It doesn't make sense that the heads of S.H.I.E.L.D. were evil and the head of Sword is evil. I don't think that they would do that, a second time. So I really expect them to use that as a red herring. He's just overly cautious because let's not forget Lagos, where she blew up that building in Civil War, or her being from Hydra and Age of Ultron and teaming up with Ultron. And now she has a town hostage. There's a lot of precedent that Wanda is bad. I gotta give them that. But anyway, we find out Monica, her blood work and her x-rays are wonky. And so I think that she's going to end up getting her powers. She does take the mantle of Captain Marvel in the comics. She also goes by a couple other different names, but I think this is her getting superpowers and maybe becoming an Avenger one day. Who knows? But I think that's really, really cool how they planted that seed already so early on. She wants to appeal to Wanda's humanity, and so she's trying to save Wanda, whereas the director of Sword wants to take her out because he views her as a threat. So they're trying to come up with plans to get Monica back inside of Westview. And so that is really the B plot here. We're taking more conventional approach to the show. We now have an A plot, which is Wanda and Vision, and a B plot, which is Agents of S.W.O.R.D. So it's getting a little more conventional in the storytelling compared to other spy shows of that genre. But yeah, back in Westview, Vision confronts Wanda, and they have a fight about this. It's really, really interesting, the whole power set. Let me rewind back a little bit, though. I'm getting ahead of myself. The boys. The boys age up to 5 years old, which is interesting. They're aging up in 5-year increments, either from newborns to 5 and from 5 to 10, which might be a callback to Avengers Endgame, or it might not. It can go either way. The show's making references all over the place. Who knows? But they get a dog, Sparky, who's a reference to Vision's dog, Sparky, in the Vision comic by Tom King. So that's neat. The boys lose Sparky in the same episode. He eats some plants and he dies, which is weird because they're Agnes's plants. And so I fully believe Agnes killed this dog, which is messed up. I don't know if she did it to mess with Wanda, to mess with the boys and Vision, or distract them from a larger threat, but I just think it's weird. Also, Wanda uses this moment to teach the boys a lesson about loss and not running away from it, but how to deal with it, which is really rich coming from Wanda Maximoff. Yeah, so Billy and Tommy, I don't know how big of a role they're actually going to play in future episodes. Their role here is, they're there, but they don't really push the plot forward. Like, they're impervious to Wanda's magic, which might be a bigger deal later on. But yeah, that's kind of it for Billy and Tommy. So I'm going to go back to Wanda and Vision's fight. And I like how Vision confronts her, and all of a sudden the credits start rolling. Like, Wanda's trying to end the episode so he doesn't get a chance to fight her. And that is insane to me, and also awesome writing, because that means the following scene is a post-credit scene, which is a hilarious nod to what Marvel does with their movies. So in this post-credit scene that we get, they keep arguing, and Vision confronts her, and she's saying that she doesn't know what's happening, and that she doesn't know how they got there. She's not in control of everything. When we know she is, because earlier in this very episode, she busts out of Westview to confront S.W.O.R.D. and tells him to stop messing with her, because the director sent a drone in there with a missile planning to kill her. And Monica tries to appeal to Wanda about everything that's going on to her humanity, and tries to help her. Wanda won't help. She has everything she wants. She's happy where she is, even though nobody else in Westview is happy where they are. I don't know if Wanda was lying to Vision, or if when Wanda goes back into Westview, her mind is also being altered. Doorbell rings. You think it's Agnes again, but you see silver hair. It's Pietro, Maximoff, Wanda's brother from Avengers Age of Ultron. Or so they want you to think. Darcy, she notices that he's recast. It's not we just recast the actor like we did with Don Cheadle and Terrence Howard in Iron Man 2. No, they know in universe that this is not their Pedro. This is Peter from X-Men Days of Future Past. We don't know anything else from that. The episode ends like right there with an embrace between him and Wanda, which is crazy to me. Did she open up the multiverse where the X-Men can now come in? He's our first mutant in the MCU, canonically, which I think is amazing. It just raises so many questions. Is that really Pedro? Why does he have a Sokovian accent if this is the same version of Quicksilver? Is it not? Is this a different version of Quicksilver just played by Evan Peters? I don't know, and I have so many questions. So in the comics, Wanda's powers, she can't create matter. She's basically plucking it from out the multiverse. For example, if she manifests a car, she's not creating a car out of thin air. She's pulling a car from a hypothetical Earth 2, right? She's Earth 1. She pulls a car from Earth 2. There's now a car in front of her. So if she decides, or even subconsciously, brings Quicksilver back, it stands to reason that she picks another Quicksilver out from another universe to be here with her. Which is why it makes total sense that it's Evan Peters playing Quicksilver as opposed to Aaron Taylor Johnson. And that is what makes this episode so good. That's what makes this entire show so good. This entire show is just phenomenal so far. Every episode gets better and better. I don't think there's been a bad episode of WandaVision yet. It's really, really interesting, but I'm kind of concerned that they can't stick the landing because it's being really ambitious, but there's only like 4 episodes left. It'll be interesting to see what happens with these characters. Also, how does Quicksilver tie into this? And the twins, and going to the 90s and 2000s, what happens there? You know, we just probably broke the multiverse and introduced mutants. There's so many things that can happen. I can't wait to see where this goes next. But I do have a question for you. Is this Quicksilver from the X-Men films, or is Evan Peters playing a different version of Quicksilver entirely? Like how J.K. Simmons was in the original Spider-Man films, but he's also playing the same character of J. Jonah Jameson in the new Spider-Man films. He's not playing the same version, he's playing a different version, but he's still the same actor, playing the same character. Makes sense? So, my question again for you, is Evan Peters playing X-Men Quicksilver, or is he a new Quicksilver? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to see more reviews, please subscribe. We're going to be reviewing WandaVision every week until the season finale. These have been really fun to do. I'm really loving the show. And again, let me know in the comments your thoughts on Quicksilver and anything else WandaVision related. You can find me on Twitter at NoviceCinephile and on my website, NoviceCinephile.com, where I'm going to be reviewing so many films for Black History Month, Black-led films. So that's going to be fun. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Stay flamed.